Greetings, I'm Alicia Cutting with what I feel is one of the most inspirational things that I've held in my hand in recent history. I am speaking today about a new children's book that is going to inspire you on many, many levels. And we're joined today with the author, Ms. Jennifer Welborn, as well as the illustrator, Rozillia, who will be sharing information about their heart project called Dr. Rosie Helps the Animals. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, I'm going to give a quick, see, this is the book, okay? It's called Dr. Rosie Helps the Animals. Now, I will share this. I am the child of a veterinarian. I am a child of a veterinarian who grew up looking at animals being operated on and cared for as a child. And I am so pleased because this is such a beautiful book. It really holds nicely in your hand and it's for a good cause. So Jennifer, why don't you tell us what your motivation was for even creating this book?
My motivation was to create a book that would be enjoyed by kids and also be informative. As a science teacher, I wanted something that kids could learn from, but that it would be also interesting and engaging. And do you want to know the history of how it started?
Sure, absolutely. Please share.
My husband is a veterinarian as well, and he's a wildlife veterinarian. And going on 5 years ago, he showed me a picture of a real baby giraffe with a neck bandage on that was successfully operated on at a nearby veterinary hospital. And I thought to myself that must be really hard to be a giraffe and have something wrong with your neck. That was just like, that's not cool.
Right.
And in the book, in the back is the picture of the real baby giraffe, so kids can see that. So then I was like, well, do rabbits have earaches? And he's like, yes, it's called otitis. He's kind of like, yeah. And then I'm like, do pigs have stomach aches? He's like, yeah, it's called gastritis. So then I'm thinking, there's a children's book ready to be written right there.
Yes.
That these animals that people think are really different actually have real things that humans have. And they also hurt, and people can help them. You can have a job of helping animals. That's going to be your career, which I thought is so cool. So I started to write the manuscript and then needed an illustrator. And as it turned out, thankfully, Rozillia was in my room at the time. And she was, when I was a science teacher, and she was working with another student. And whenever I would assign a science concept that I wanted the children to illustrate, Rozillia would illustrate as a model for her student.
Wow.
And she would do it so beautifully and so quickly and so on point. She would capture the essence of a science concept. And I looked down, I will never, ever forget this. And I said, would you want to illustrate a children's book I'm thinking of doing? And she looked up, she's like, what did you say?
Yeah. Yes.
What else did you say?
It's like, it's literally my dream.
Literally.
Yeah.
And she said, it's literally my dream. Yeah.
Okay, now, Rozillia, now both of you are in education. I myself was a middle school science teacher, so I have that connection as well, exactly, for like 14 years in education. And I really want to know, as an illustrator, you said that it was like your dream come true, like it was a passion for you. What made illustrating a book be so important in your life plan?
Well, I started drawing when I was really young, maybe like late elementary, early middle school. So I already had a really big passion for art at a young age. And I actually wanted to be a comic book artist first. Wow. Comic book illustrator, because I was a very big nerd and I love reading comic books, and my father would, was perfectly okay with buying me tons of comics and graphic novels because he was also a big comic book nerd. And so I originally wanted to do comic books, and a big part of comic books is illustration. You learn all kinds of different methods, through illustration, like character design and environmental design and all kinds of cool things. What really spoke to me for children's books was that this is more when I was a little older, and I realized how much it impacted me for my mother to read like these cool stories to me when I was younger. And children's books to me, like to read something that can be like really outlandish. There's this book I brought my nephew called The Angry Monkey. I think it's called The Angry Monkey. It's like, and the book is just it's so amazing because, you know, it teaches like, you know, it takes like this angry monkey in a jungle, but he doesn't really get why he's angry. And it's like through the book shows, you know, children where, you know, it's okay to be mad. Like, you know, everyone
have emotions.
Yeah.
Have emotions.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And how do you deal with that? And sometimes you can't really answer that question, and it's okay to feel that way. And so that was a big component for me. It's like, how do I, you know, tell an interesting story, but also, you know, reach children like in that important way, you know, whether it's like how to emotionally regulate, or, you know, through something as simple as ABCs, or through, you know, Miss Welborn's idea with the animals, you know, helping animals. Most kids love animals. You can't go wrong with that.
Absolutely. And I have to tell you, it's like, the book is not only a good storyline because it shows Rosie working with her mother, okay? And then she goes on to learn about how each of the animals, how she can help them. So on so many levels, it teaches empathy, it teaches homeopathic medicine, it teaches about exploration. I mean, she's just like, Rosie is everywhere. And it's such a cute book, but it's also a book that you're using for a good cause. So Jennifer, tell us about that.
Yes. So when Rozillia and I, and we've been working on this a long time, it's actually, there's a little trailer, The Making of Dr. Rosie. And at one point in it, I say, we've been working on this a long time. And if you pause it, she's cracking up because it's really, we have been through so much together.
Oh yeah.
So a long time. And so it was really clear from the beginning that, first of all, we would write about a young girl, because as growing up, I didn't have young girls in books doing science concept. And then she said she didn't have any young girl of color growing up in a book that she could relate to. She read constantly and same thing. And so we were like, of course, you're going to illustrate it the way you feel is appropriate, and which is what she did. And so what was the question?
Sure. No. So basically, this is for a good cause as well. Representation is everything. It matters. So let's say it. So this is for a good cause.
So then when I started, there were conceptual drawings that started to come in, right? Of the mom and Rosie and everything like that. And then people were looking at it and they had this kind of like quizzical look, you know, like, well, that's not really representation because there aren't any African-American veterinarians around. And I'm like, right. And almost at the same time, Dr. Tiara Price there was a Time article where she was featured in there, and she was talking about that there's so few African-American veterinarians in this country that statistically they're staying at 0%. Like, that's outrageous. So this was kind of, they came together, which is the way this book has been going the whole time. These things start coming together. So we did some research about that, and she mentioned, or is in this article, this group called CARE that is sponsoring the Dr. Jody G. Blackwell Scholarship Fund for African-American veterinary students. And that among many things, finances are something that would be helpful, right? There's a lot of things that are challenging for
absolutely.
Yeah, lots and lots. But you don't want money to be yet another
hindrance.
A hindrance.
Right.
So we found this fund, and then we talked to these people, CARE, and we said, we really would like to, you know, pay it forward. Like, you know, we make some money off this book and then we give it to the fund. And we have now, Rozillia, we've given 2 times, right? To the fund, to CARE Fund, since it was, the book was born April 30th.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're planning on giving quarterly. And so just to kind of, you know, bring it back full circle. And so that's how we got to that point, that we thought this is a way of, I could, or somebody could give to the fund directly. Of course they could.
Absolutely. You can write a check anytime you want to. Absolutely.
But in the meantime, we're educating a bunch of people, a whole bunch of people about veterinary medicine, about this cool little girl. We want everybody to love.
Children are important and we love kids.
Yes. And we want everybody to know her. You know,
Yes.
We want her to be out there for everybody, and everybody can see her and all the cool things she does and be a hero. We want her to be a hero.
And it's amazing too, because Dr. Blackwell,
Yes.
as I mentioned, my father's a veterinarian.
Yes.
Now retired after 50 years in private practice and owning his clinic. And he too is a graduate of Tuskegee. It was instituted at the time, but Tuskegee's veterinary medicine program. So again, Dr. Blackwell, I believe he was like one of the first students to graduate from that class. I think it was 1950. My father was later, but right. And as a proud Tuskegee graduate myself, I am so pleased that HBCUs, historically Black colleges and universities, are one of the main primary source for graduating Black engineers. I'm an engineer. Black veterinarians. Black veterinarians. Let me spit it out. I'm so used to saying engineering. But if you're looking, and I will say this as my shameless plug for my college, if you are, or if you know anyone who is interested in veterinary medicine, please consider Tuskegee University now, where Dr. Blackwell, who is main part of this inspiration, was not only a graduate as well as on faculty. And I remember that name coming up through the years of my father being a part of Tuskegee as well.
And his son too, Michael Blackwell, who we've had a Zoom meeting with, Rozillia and I, as well. And he was the dean for a while, Dr. Michael Blackwell, lovely, lovely man. Yeah.
And it's interesting because there's even a show on, I believe, Animal Planet, where some of the veterinarians, Black veterinarians, were Tuskegee graduates. So when
I know that show.
Exactly, I want to say it's the Vet Life, but all the veterinarians that I know went to Tuskegee, so I am so biased. And to know that this book will help support students who are interested, and not just, students in general, but particularly Black students, and more so than that, showing a representation of a young girl. Because what we see, you're in education, I'm in education, statistically speaking, a lot of times young girls who were interested in sciences, begin to fizzle out and are not necessarily inspired to continue on in STEM, which we all know is crucial. So I am just really proud of this book and the illustrations. And again, the storyline is really, really cute. One final plug that I'm going to give for this book is that it really feels good in your hands. I know we do a lot of things like we read online and we do that, but this is a solid book with nice pages. So if you're a reader, get this book for your child, get this book to be inspired, because she does her best, and which would be basically a dream state, to go in and help the animals.
Yeah.
How perfect is that? So please tell people, how can they physically get the book? How can they donate? What is the best way to get in touch with you all individually, and then for the project?
Rozillia, do you want to go first?
Individually, the best way to get in contact with us is either through our social media. So we have Dr. Rosie Helps the Animal for Instagram and Twitter. It also has also through Ms. Welborn's website, which is Jennifer Welborn, author website, and through our Water Bear Publishing website, which is the book is published under.
Yeah, we have a small publishing company that we developed. There's, including Rozillia, 4 people on staff. And so we are proudly out there. And
absolutely.
So yes, there's Water Bear Publishing. And so info@waterbearpublishing.com can give you information about how to order the book. Thank you, Rozillia.
Oh, also through Amazon. And I think Amazon, Google, Barnes & Noble.
The major online.
Yeah.
So basically put in for either Jennifer Welborn, and I'll place it on. So it's Welborn with one L, but JenniferWelbornAuthor.com. Any quick search, Dr. Rosie Helps the Animals. I love readers, and I think that it's really important that the schools get their copies. So if you are in a school and you're a school librarian, or you work with schools and are in a position to purchase multiple books for your libraries, for your groups, please do, because the proceeds, again, will help to support students who are interested in or who are pursuing careers, education, to have a career in veterinary science, veterinary medicine.
Yep.
So please, any final words, any sharing words, any words to share that you just like, oh my gosh, I have to just say this right now.
This will probably be the best work I ever come up with. And that is also my first children's book as an illustrator in general. So that's the most exciting for me.
Love it. And I'm proud to support you as well, because it's really cute. And I say I'm an artist. I do love art. I do draw, but I like the weight of the lines. I know that I'm talking artisty talk right now, but it's really, I like the illustrations. And you bring character to the animals. Yes. you can almost see the personality of the pig.
Yeah.
And that's so important. The elephant with the stuffy nose, the pig with the bellyache, it's really, really cute. So please go out and support the authors, support local authors, because again, you happen to be located in Western Mass. So I expect for all of our Western Mass people who we know education is key all over the place, that they support this book as well, because representation matters. And I've heard sometimes you don't necessarily know you can be it until you see it.
Yes.
So Jennifer, any final words from you?
I honestly feel, I've been teaching a long time, that this was literally a gift given to me. I retired 2 years ago, and I had thought of this book 5 years ago, and that gave me time and energy to push this forward. And working with Rozillia, it seems like, including the opportunity, thank you kindly for this interview, that people have just kind of stepped up and embraced it. And Rozillia, you can join in with me that anytime we talk about it, people are like, it just is this uplifting thing. And I feel like it's come through me. It's like a thing that is, I helped it get born, but it was more than that. It was that Rozillia was in my room. It was all of these things that fell into place, that it was time to, the scholarship fund, right? That all of these things. And so I really honestly feel like this is a gift that I was able to work with Rozillia. She's an amazing, amazing person on so many levels. And to get this book, out in the world for people to see, and because it's important on so many levels, like you were saying. So that's
on so many levels. Yep. Absolutely. Well, again, the website that you can definitely go to is JenniferWelbornAuthor.com. But again, you can also search everywhere. Dr. Rosie Helps the Animals. Jennifer and Rozillia, thank you so much for coming on and for sharing with me something that is so important on so many levels. Personally for me too, because I'd love to see this book fully be a success, to help those students who are interested in pursuing veterinary medicine, because things can be difficult and every bit helps. And like you said, you played a part, but the vision was so greater than you.
Greater than me.
And you just were able, all the stars aligned. Yeah, so you were able to connect with Rozillia and to have the opportunity, time to be able to put into this heart project.
So, it's from our heart.
Truly from the heart. And I can feel that even through the pages.
Yes, thank you.
I'm just saying, no problem. Well, ladies, thank you so much. And please support for so many reasons, so many levels, for such a great cause. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Have a blessed day.
So much for having us. Bye-bye.
Bye now.